Hi, this is Anukta here. First of all, a big thank you to Singulart and to Emil for choosing to interview me to find out more about my life as an artist. So the first question being, what is the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? Well, lifelong I have been, doing exercise in the morning, and with art coming into my life, I also realize how it is important to be holistically healthy, which is the body as well as the mind. So first thing I do is I do a bit of a warm-up exercise and I go for a walk, and I come back and I do some om chantings and meditation of any kind. Yes, I do that, and I also have a small little gratitude diary. I try and express a list of things over there every day, and that's how I begin. Because with art, I really feel that you need to have a very open approach to life and embrace it with all its negatives and positives, and sort of try to find that balance and try to find that inner core, which to me helps express myself better. And it's good for every individual, but definitely it's a blessing for an artist. What inspires me to create every day? Well, art is my living. I make a living out of it, so that's definitely a big inspiration on a daily basis for me to get up there and just come to my studio to do something, to tinker around a bit over here. But apart from that, art really is a great leveler to me. I have a very excitable mind. It's constantly buzzing with ideas and things to do and stuff like that. To center it, I somehow feel it's art that gives me that. That to center my being, to sort of be in the moment, is something which we all aspire to be in, and art is something which I really find helping me do that, and as a result it helps me create something of value, and of course make a living through it. So that's what inspires me. What does my workspace look like? Well, it's as cluttered as it can be. At the same time, there is a method to the madness, so there is a lot of organization that goes on, but which I keep resettling every now and then. So my acrylics go in one place, my brushes are here, I paint with a lot of mediums simultaneously, not in the same canvas, but at the same time. So yeah, I have my soft pastels in one, various paraphernalia which are linked to that in one corner. The papers, the canvases, they're all sort of organized in a way which only I can understand. So to an outsider it might look cluttered. So if I were to describe the core of my technique or style, it would be that I tend to think of myself more as a chronicler of what I see every day in terms of what's happening around us, or the people, places, or things that I observe. And I always tend to look at them in terms of shapes, forms, color schemes, etc. So there was this whole series that I did on these hand-pulled rickshaws of Calcutta, which to my mind, as a fresh artist, after having left the corporate world behind, I could see in a new way, and their design element and their sensibilities in terms of colors, lines really appeal to me. And I have done probably about more than 25 artworks simply based on that. Basically tried to create abstract forms out of the realistic images of those rickshaws that I've done. Other than that, I take a lot, since I draw reference from everyday life, so I do a lot of plein air work, and ideally that's what I would love to do, but because of paucity of time, etc., I usually end up taking a lot of pictures, and then work from them. I try to give it an artistic spin. In terms of rough works, in doing rough sketches prior to actually painting, I don't do much of that. I like to keep my spontaneity alive, much like this particular interview also. I haven't prepared for it. I like to go with flow, and that's what I do even with my art. What I do, however, do is to create the mood, I put on the kind of music. For me, music works a lot while I'm painting, helps me tap into my subconscious mind. and so I kind of put the music which would be relevant to the subject that I'm painting. And I do other kinds of studies in terms of research on what is it, if it's a subject not very familiar to me, I do a little bit of research on the background. If it's about a city, then I do read up more about that particular aspect of that city. Or I also kind of tend to play around with the color schemes to see what would look good and things like that. But in terms of actual compositional drawing, I beyond a little bit of a sketch, if I really have to do in a sketch format, I actually end up doing it directly on the canvas or paper as it were. And yeah, spontaneity is something which works better for me. Yeah, and it's contemporary realistic style of work which I do more often. And there are some series, like in the case of rickshaws, like I said, where I have delved more with the aspects of geometrical aspects of lines and forms, and spatula forms a big part of my drawings when it comes to acrylics. What are my top 3 studio essentials? Well, it's hard to pinpoint top 3 because there's so many things that one needs, and since I am versatile, I really dabble with a lot of different mediums. But in terms of colors, then it would be colors. My top 3, the first would be colors, be it acrylic, watercolor or soft pastel. Then would come brushes, of course, the plethora of brushes and spatulas. And lastly, the third would be what do I say? Maybe yeah, okay, soft pastels, colored soft pastels for doing the initial sketches on canvas. So that these 3 things. And the fourth one, which is not mentioned, which you've not asked me, but I have to say this, is peace of mind. That is something which you bring with you to the studio before you begin drawing. And yeah, that's extremely essential to do. And sometimes it's also a dichotomy, because sometimes it's art. While doing the art, the peace of mind comes. So it's a two-way process. How do I decide when an artwork is finished? So, someone once said that it's easy to teach the techniques of drawing, but it takes a long time for the observation skills to be honed. And I would think pretty much the same for understanding when to let an artwork, when to decide when an artwork is done. So initially, when you begin as an artist, you tend to draw everything truthfully in terms of what you see in front of you. But it does take some sort of an experience to understand when to stop and how much is too much, and that less is more, and things like that, how much of negative space to leave. So I let my intuition guide me essentially in this aspect. And what can I say, that's what when I feel that the work is just done and no more should I just it's looking great as it is, that's when I just let go of it. What do you like to do when to unwind after a day's work? Well, there's nothing arty about that. I unwind by not thinking about art. I watch news and I watch Netflix like many others. At times I read a book. I used to read a lot of books earlier, and that was my bedtime ritual before going to sleep, but that's not how it is these days. But yeah, these are the 3 things which I do usually before going to sleep. What is your overall favorite aspect of the creative process? Well, my creative what is my overall favorite aspect of the creative process? Yeah, what the one thing that really excites me and keeps me going, because I get bored easily, is the element of being in the moment, of losing oneself totally to the object that I'm painting, whether it be nature or people or an object. I just it's only something which an artist can understand. I mean, if I'm painting a portrait and if I get the nose right, or the eye, the twinkle of the eye, or the expression just right after hours of working, and it comes out just well, and that's what keeps me going. And each artwork is so different from the other, and the experience one gets is so different from the other. And sometimes when you begin, you start out by thinking having a different picture in your mind, but the canvas speaks to you, and it's like a dance together what you do with the canvas. And that excitement really is what is my favorite aspect of one is being in the moment, and also being open to the surprise that it comes up with the artwork. So these two aspects are to me my favorite reasons why I keep coming back to art and the creative process. So thank you once again. It was nice delving into my inner sources to search for the answers which probably seem very obvious at a certain level. Thank you.